One. All right, I'm back for Dusty S's ongoing coverage of IEM Dallas 2024, and I'm here with a surprise guest, the surprise champion, surprise winner over the #1 team in the world, Stewie2K, someone who we haven't seen in a long time here at the IEM stage. To start, you just beat the #1 team in the world while playing as a stand-in in your first S-tier event in 2.5 years. How are you feeling right now?
It definitely brings back a lot of memories. It revives a lot of the feelings that I used to have when I go to tournaments as well. I think the first day here, maybe I had some jitters or some expectations on my own. So coming back, it was I wasn't really full force just yet, but after the first day and the second day now, I felt like I got into the groove of things, and my mindset is definitely more in that killer mentality, especially playing against MOUZ Sports. I know they're not an easy team, but from watching them play and even playing against them like the first, second map, I didn't feel like they were all that special. Not anything that is catching me off guard or anything like that. I can read them very well. It's just about getting into the groove of things and making sure I feel comfortable.
With that comfort, I think what a lot of people have been looking for in your return to Tier 1 competition is whether you have the mechanics and whether you have the brain from the game that we saw in your last outings when you were at the top of the world with Liquid and then with EG for a while. How are you feeling about your mechanics, and how are you feeling about sort of your mind for the game that we had last seen with you in previous teams?
Well, the thing is, you've done something for so long, 7 years long. I don't think it's gonna be something you can forget so easily, or you can just transition into something else and completely drop off what you used to do. So with that being said, I think even when I watch CS and even when I play some of the scrims with G2 before, it's not anything surprising. It's not anything changed drastically within the meta these last 2 years. I think it's more about getting my reps in and making sure I get better decisions and kind of understand the general picture of what teams are trying to do now. And I think playing against MOUZ Sports, it kind of all clicked at a certain moment where I just started understanding everything. It's almost like I never left even. And I think it's just about getting into the groove of things, and hopefully tomorrow I'm going to be 100%.
And you're going to be playing Liquid tomorrow, G2 Stew2K versus Team Liquid. Is that a weird thought to you?
I would say maybe if it was the iteration with Elise still, it would be a little different playing against some of my ex-teammates, but this time around, I think the roster has changed so much that I can't really say this is going to be anything personal. I mean, I'm playing against Naf and Twist, who I used to be teammates with, but for me, it's just another game. I'm not going to add anything personal to it. I'm going to focus round by round and play game by game and hopefully make it on stage.
So I gotta ask you, how did this even come to pass? This news came really as a bolt from the blue. I don't think any of us really saw it coming for you to be, picked up by G2 to stand in for them. What was the whole process of being reached out to? Was it something Nico pushed for, or where did this come from?
To be honest, I cannot give you a for sure answer, but throughout my experience on teams and organizations, I would say that no management would come out of nowhere and force you to play with someone you don't want to play with. I'm sure it's something that has been discussed before, and during my time with Legacy as a stand-in, I stood in for them for a little bit, knowing that it wasn't going to be forever. It was going to be a very short period of time, and I didn't know what's to come next. And I was reached out to by Ricardo Dead, one of the Legacy CEOs, and he said that G2 is looking for a stand-in, and they reached out to me. And to be honest, the thought process behind it, on my end, there's not a lot of free agents out there, not a lot of players that are available. So for me to be an option, I wouldn't say it's something that surprised me, but definitely coming my way with that opportunity at a Tier 1 event is something I couldn't pass up, and I know it's going to be not easy to jump into that level of competition right away.
For what it's worth, I think you've done an admirable performance coming in this team. Playing for a European roster, playing under a new leader, doing all these things you haven't done in such a long time. Are you having fun being back here?
I think that's the main objective. Having fun is definitely one of the things that is most important in anything you do. If you're not having fun, then it's going to be a pretty miserable time for you and the group. I think just being able to play with some of the best players in the world and just being on the same team and being on this side for once, it makes things more fun, and there's a lot of situations that happen that you kind of don't expect. So it's been a long time. It's been a while. It's definitely an enjoyable experience, and definitely not taking it for granted.
And I think something else that seemed very fun you did was that ESL skit that aired today, where you were sort of being interrogated by, I believe, Stunna and Yanko, if I'm not mistaken. Moses, right, of course. And there's a lot going on there. I personally thought I think a lot of guys in the press room thought it was hilarious with all the references back to the EG days. Is that a sign that now that some time has passed, you're able to look back on it and sort of be more accepting and view it as sort of just something that maybe just part of your career now?
To be honest, the EG situation is honestly something I moved past a long time ago, especially when it recently happened and all the speculations and all the rumors that people talk about and all that stuff. I moved past that a long time ago. I feel like that is something, I'm not going to let it define me. I've been in the scene for so long. I've done so much and, been a part of so many teams that you can ask any of my ex-teammates. I think every player has their own flaws. Every person has their flaws. No one's going to be perfect, but I am not going to let that define me in a way where I'm going to believe it's true. I mean, if it's true and it's something that I have done, I can own up to it and I will admit to it. And it's not something that I can just change in the public's perspective, So for me, coming here and the skit that happened, I understand it. I mean, it doesn't bother me. I think it's something to laugh at, in the long run. It's not something you're gonna catch up on and, kind of keep that hanging above my own head, I think that's something you learn from and you move on,
Now we're looking at your next match, like I previously mentioned, against Liquid. There's a very real world in which you guys win tomorrow and make it to the main stage at IEM Dallas. So you'll be back in front of an NA crowd for the first time in many years. What would that mean for you to be Stewie2K back in, Stewie2K, the smoke criminal, probably wearing the American flag in front of the American crowd once again?
Man, I think it will mean everything just because it's been so long away from competition and being able to have an opportunity to stand in for one of the best teams out there and especially in front of a home crowd, I think it's almost like it's supposed to happen. And if I were able to play in front of the crowd, I think that would mean everything because the last time I played in front of any crowd was probably Boston. Probably like Chicago in 2019, somewhere around there. So it's been many years since I played in front of a crowd, and just being able to hear the roars and for them to cheer for my name and cheer me on, I think that means everything.
Now, here's the big doozy question before I let you go. The thing that's been on everyone's mind. We saw you come back as a stand-in for Legacy. People were like, "Oh, what's Stewie2K doing? Is he back in Counter-Strike 2?" And now we see you here at IEM Dallas playing with G2. Looking great for a player who's been out of it for so long. Is Stewie2K back for Counter-Strike 2?
It's very hard to say. I wouldn't say that I'm trying to leave or I'm trying to put CS behind me and move on. I think I want to stay in the CS scene, but at the same time, I got to look out for myself. I think I have to prioritize other things outside of CS and outside of the business side of things and make sure I am good there first before I, move on and possibly have a chance to affect other people in a collective group. So I would say for now I'm back, but at the same time, don't expect anything.
But if everything goes on the other side of your life the way it needs to go, are we going to see you start looking for teams, or what's the immediate thing you're going to be doing after IEM Dallas, regardless of what happens tomorrow?
Man, I'll say one thing. So one thing I'm very appreciative is that for the 2 years that I've been gone from competitive play, my name is still being around the scene and it's still floating around. People are still talking about me, whether it's in a bad or good light. So the fact that my name is still hanging around, I'm very appreciative of that. And I know for a fact that this won't be the last time you see me.
All right, folks, that's words to live by right there, and we'll see him in the future in a literal sense as he takes on Liquid tomorrow for a spot in playoffs. Stewie2K is one match away from playoffs, folks. The man, the myth, the legend right here, the smoke criminal. Thank you so much for your time, Stewie, and we'll see you in G2 in action tomorrow.